Hello and welcome to another weekly update. It already feels like build was a really long time ago, even though it only happened pretty much last week. Lots seems to be happening kind of since then. The news is kind of trickling out. It slows down a bit always after a big event like build. People kind of, all the development teams inside Microsoft kind of aim for these big milestone things like build and ignite and the other big conferences. But there's still things happening. Some of this is kind of residual kind of build stuff that I didn't pick up on during the week of build that's come out, and some of it is genuine new stuff. So first one I want to talk about is new kind of features to shifts, team shifts, which is the kind of specific app arranged around Firstline Workers. So Firstline Workers, really important right now, obviously. But often they don't have a great experience in terms of devices. They tend not to necessarily have their own devices all the time. They might not be domain joined, and they might not even have their own accounts. And yet they're a really important part of the organisation. Now more so than ever, right? So Microsoft are kind of addressing this, and specific announcement made over the course of build, and a blog post published a few days ago to wrap it all up, is big changes to the Graph API for shifts. It's moving from beta into GA. That's really good for all those organizations who are looking to build things that make use of Shift and automate parts of Shift, so you can read information from Shift, and you can also you can kind of control how shifts work using the APIs as well. So you can fully integrate it around your existing kind of workforce management systems you might have around shift rotoring, and other things like that. So that's good. And you might have been waiting on this stuff because it's been in beta, so you shouldn't really be using it in production. It's now all in GA, so you can absolutely use it. Go and have a look at it. The documentation is all there. It's all up to date. It's moved over into the 1.0 kind of documentation. There's already some open source integrations with Kronos and JDA. They're all on GitHub. You can use them. Also worth noting is that there are enhanced capabilities now to make shifts work with Power Automate. So the old thing we used to call Flow, now called Power Automate. So new capabilities, so you can make it even easier to automate some things that are happening in Shift. You don't even have to write any code for that. There's no integration. Anybody can do it. Definitely you should go and look at that if you're interested in that. If you want to kind of dip your toe in the water, maybe you're not a developer, you're not a programmer, but you use shifts, and you have Firstline Workers and you want to automate some of that process, absolutely you can do that. So auto approving, declining, moving shifts around, getting details of a shift and maybe publishing it somewhere else, putting it into Teams, maybe sending it as an email, whatever else it is. Go and have a look at Power Automate, because there's lots of connectors in there now to make some of that stuff really kind of possible, and you don't need to be a developer to go and do it. So that's kind of pretty exciting. Other big announcement that I think kind of has just come out, and I didn't notice it happen as part of the build news, but maybe I was wrong. So we talked a lot at build around tasks and Microsoft To Do, but there is a new API for Microsoft To Do. Now this has been requested since forever. I've tried to do a couple of things using the To Do API. Well, kind of there hasn't been a To Do API, that's been the problem. There've been a couple of kind of weird ways around it, because To Do and tasks are kind of similar under the hood, and there was an old API for integrating with tasks, and it was all a bit complicated. There is a new To Do API now. It's in preview, and so that's really exciting to people like me who can now jump on this and do things with this API. So there's a new task list entity. It contains like a list of tasks. There's also a kind of entity called a linked resource, which means you can kind of link it. You can store like a resource and then display a link back to your app where the task is created from. So you can kind of deeply integrate the To-Do workflow system into other apps and processes. So that's kind of interesting. Right now, they're only supporting delegated access. This is a bit of a pain point for me. I get it. I understand why delegating access is easier to implement than application permissions, but it is annoying. I get it. Again, like it's probably the majority use case. However, I play a lot in the bot world, Bots they don't have users tied to them all the time necessarily. I know they do in chat flows, but that's not always the case. And so it's kind of annoying that there isn't application permission scope. I get it. I know. I'm sure it'll come. But yeah. So right now it's just delegated access. There's things you can do on task lists like create and read them. You can update them. There's some cool stuff. And there's the blog post is good, and it's got a video at the end of it as well that talks you through some things you can do with it. So that's kind of interesting as well. So definitely worth taking a look at that. That new to-do API, pretty exciting. And finally, the thing I'm going to leave you with, Microsoft. I think this was announced at Build, but again I missed it. A new channel for it's called Learn TV. And there's going to be daily technical content. So if you are looking for more things to learn, maybe your workload is less at the moment because you're in lockdown. Maybe it's not, in which case, yeah, I hear you. But maybe your workload is less, or you're looking for something more to do. There is a new way of consuming Microsoft-based content. It's called Microsoft Learn. It's going to have live streams. It's going to have pre-recorded shows. It's going to have instructional videos. It's being led by Microsoft Cloud Advocates. And we'll also include things from like product group heads and community members as well. So I'm definitely going to be looking at this to see if this is a platform that I might be able to produce content for as well, to kind of get some information out about. So this sounds a lot like Channel 9. Apparently it's not. It's going to be it's going to complement Channel 9. It's different because Learn TV is going to be live presentations. It's going to be instructor-led sessions. And so that's going to be slightly different. So right now, I think in Channel 9, I guess it's more self-paced, it's more on demand, whereas that sounds like this is going to be more live streamed, more like, it's called Learn TV, right? So maybe it's more like a TV channel than a collection of on-demand videos. So I think we'll have to see. Sounds interesting. Yeah, it sounds really good. It's good. It's a good time to do something like this. I think. I guess this is Microsoft reacting to the fact that we are all learning more things remotely than maybe before we'd go to a Microsoft session. Microsoft have always put on lots of training sessions for the community and for people and for partners and customers and everything. They're always running workshops and training sessions that you can go to in person. Maybe this is a kind of reaction to some of that now not being so possible. So it's good to see. I'm excited to check it out, kind of both as a consumer, but also I'm interested to see what kind of community submissions they're receiving. Okay, that's everything from me. I have a blog post so ready to go that is quite exciting. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know what it's about because I put a little spoiler video up, or LinkedIn, actually I put it there as well. Yeah, really good, really interesting blog post, something pretty exciting that was way easier than I thought it was going to be to do. So that's all fun. Right, that's everything from me. I am going to go and enjoy the sunshine outside. I suggest you do the same if it's sunny where you are. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you again next week.